we go. We have a little bit of learning about George Frideric Handel. And I'm just going to read this page to you, and then we're going to explore his music a little bit, and I'm going to talk about one of the assignments that you are going to be working on. All right, so I'm just going to read through this like I said. George Frideric Handel was born on February 23rd, 1685, way back then, in Halle, Germany. As a child, he showed musical talent, and at an early age was quite an outstanding organist and harpsichordist. A harpsichord is kind of similar to an organ. I actually don't know much about a harpsichord. I'll have to check that out. When he was 19 years old, he was fortunate to hear one of the world's greatest organists and composers of that time, Dietrich, I don't know how to read that, Buxtehude. In 1707, he visited Rome and stayed in Italy for 3 years, becoming thoroughly indoctrinated in the technique of Italian opera, which means he was thoroughly taught about Italian opera. Several operas were composed using that style. When financial returns from the operas were not profitable, he turned to oratorios. It was in this field that he left an indelible mark. So an indelible mark means this is kind of where he became very famous, creating oratorios, which is a type of classical music. At the age of 56, struggling against ill health, debt, and almost friendless, his valiant spirit gave him courage, and he created his most famous oratorio, Messiah. It was first presented in Dublin, Ireland, and was a rousing success. In England, acceptance was slower. 4 to 6 years passed before performances took place. How he loved food. A little restraint was used when it came to eating. It certainly showed, for he was very large, on the fat side, one might say. He moved in a rather clumsy manner. His smile and laughter were delightful. However, when a scowl or frown appeared on his face, beware. Many stories are told about his violent temper and how he dealt with temperamental musicians and producers. Borrowing, while actually taking, melodies from other musicians was the practice of the day. Everyone did it. However, Handel borrowed more than most composers. Defending himself, he remarked, "They, the other composers, don't know what to do with those tunes, and I do." He gave added life, luster, and beauty to melodies that previously seemed lifeless. Today, copyright laws prohibit such borrowing. Handel belongs to the music period classified as Baroque, which was characterized by a very elaborate and almost theatrical style. The last 8 years of his life were lived in darkness, for he was blind. Queen Anne of England gave him a lifelong pension. He died on Good Friday, 1759. England's respect for him was evident by having him buried in the Poets' Corner of Westminster Abbey. So a place where very famous people would be buried, royalty, in Poets' Corner. So you would have artists, so musicians and poets. Here's a little bit of trivia. At the first performance of the oratorio Messiah, men were asked not to wear their swords, and women were asked not to wear hoops. This made room for 100 more seats. Good. All right. I'm going to just end the recording part of this meeting.